Welcome back to Wook Plus. I am Weekend Wook, joined tonight by Kev, the Great Went, and T. What's up, T? What's up, Kev? How you guys doing?
It always makes me so happy to see Skoy in the beginning of that video.
Dude, that night from that video was one of the best just experiences of
$40
my life.
balloons.
God, that was so much fun.
Can I hit
so
that
much
$40
fun.
balloon? What does a $40 balloon taste like?
Delicious.
Deliciousness. Besides the fact that I called St. Louis Grand Rapids the other night, we got the Tweezer.
a few times. And I was always like, wait, are they playing Grand Rapids at St. Louis? Because what are you talking about? Yes, you kept saying that. I let you go.
He confused me too. I was very confused.
I know.
He always does that shit. He just says things so confidently. I'm like, oh yeah, that must be right.
Right. You're like, okay, sure.
I would have thrown this out there. Definitely
Okay.
an elite, definitely an elite 8 Tweezer tonight.
Of all time? Damn, that's bold. I think it was really good. I mean, I think we'll get to it. We'll get to it. I don't want to put the cart before the horse. Let's get into the first set.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, this is going to be a fun night. Start things off with Cars, Trucks, Buses. I thought it was a pretty solid, ripping, fun, standard Cars, Trucks, Buses.
Good way. Instrumental openers are always a plus. And Paige loves it. He smiles. He's like, this is my tune. I wrote this on the Jersey Turnpike. I love this song.
Yeah, like such a fun opener. Just get you grooving.
Yeah. And then that Jibboo was I felt like it boded well for the rest of the night. Now this set was mixed, right? Like we were talking about this at the set break hang. It kind of went back and forth with like bangers, and then not like bad, but like they took their foot off the gas, and then they'd have another bang, and then they'd slow down. I thought this Jibboo though was really solid.
New Spaces, definitely an interesting Jibboo. I felt like they fell back into what they did the first couple shows. The second song was a little extended than it normally is, and it had a really interesting jam in it that they don't normally do.
Yeah, it did have a cool jam in it, which was kind of hot in the T spot. Like it kind of had that, I don't know, the drop into it. All of a sudden, you were like, "Oh shit, we're like in this place." Like it was cool. It just all of a sudden fell into it. And you're like, "Oh, all right, I'll ride this along." Like this is kind of cool.
Right, which is perfect that early in the night, because they had been doing that a lot this tour, but it had been coming a little bit later in the shows. It felt like. I think it was nice to kind of get that tone set for the night so early on. And then NICU was fine. This was one of those like where it wasn't like bad on the critiques, but it kind of just pulled back a little bit. I almost missed it. I was like, oh shit, I didn't even catch that.
It's a slap in your face to do NICU for only 4 minutes, man.
Well, yeah, I was surprised. I said this at the hang at intermission. I was surprised they played it again. Like I usually won a tour, especially like not a very long tour, maybe there and Monday, you'd think, but I was surprised to get a second one already. And yeah, it wasn't much of one at that.
We will get one at Mondegreen too. There will be 3 this tour.
There will be.
I really liked this Ocelot jam though. And this was where I was when Ocelot started. I'll be honest, like just full transparency. This is where I started to get a little panicky for the set, because it's not that I hate the song, but it doesn't usually have that much interesting things to it. It kind of is just like a fun throwaway. And after the really short NICU, I was like, okay, they started strong, but now it's starting to go away. But I really liked this jam. I mean, it was compact, but what they did
another interesting thing that they don't normally do.
Yeah, very fresh jamming tonight, right?
Yeah, because if you went to take a piss during it, you got back just in time for like the good part of the song. Like, so it worked out well.
I thought that was the next song you were talking about.
No, I Ocelot's one of those. I'm just like, no, thanks. But if it has a good jam in it, which it does after you get through it, that's great. And this was a good one. Like this was a fun jam and had a really nice re-entry into it too, I thought too, which was cool. So good on them.
What did you think about that Evolve, T?
You know I'm a fan of Evolve. I like
Yeah.
it. So
Still holding up for you.
The best
Still
part.
holds
The
up.
best part was about 6 minutes in to the Evolve.
Yeah. People like Evolve.
it was fun. You know, whatever. There you
Stealing
go.
my lines now.
Yeah, I got it, man. So my highlight for this first set was absolutely without question this theme. I mean, I don't know. I can't say like confidently that theme's never been jammed out like that, but I couldn't remember a theme that went that type to that dark and that interesting. Like, and I
Chunky
like that
guitar.
song. Yeah, well, it was cool because it kind of had like this mild funk going, and then all of a sudden it got like really dark, and you're like, the mild funk into the dark was like really really sweet, and that's a song that I love just straight like type 1 regular theme is just a cool song. So then to get the dark funky jamming and the just theme, I was like, I think it was perfect. It was, I mean, A plus.
Highlight of the set for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I loved how it exploded back too. It didn't just go to the top. They hit the top so confidently. They were just like boom, and like hell yeah, hell yeah.
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah.
Kev, nothing to add. Not long.
I really, it stayed in the normal territory till about 12, 13 minutes, but then it did turn on that, and they found some and really interesting spaces. But Trey started with the rhythm guitar part, and I was like, that isn't normal in theme. Theme is normally him runs up and down the fretboard instead of, and they did that, stopped, and then did Vultures, which is a little harder tune. What happened?
You spelled Jibboo wrong.
I didn't spell Jibboo wrong.
I know you copied this shit from Twitter, but Kev, I'm telling you, man,
just spelled it wrong, dude. You just spelled it wrong. There's not 2 B's in that word.
How do you spell it? Somebody in the thing just said it. There are 2 B's in that word, you motherfucker. I was just gonna say something so kind and like I mean it from a place of love, but then you gave me shit. So you know what? Forget it.
See, there you go. So,
yes, it is.
I'm gonna have to look into that.
Listen, I'm just saying
look into that. See, once again, the confidence of being wrong.
No, Jason, he spelled it with the 1 B. See, look, now everybody's saying you're good, but you ain't good. I fixed it. I took it down and I fixed it. I love Vultures. I don't care if it was short or long. I thought it was tight. I thought it was fun. They were smiling. It had, it was like
Trey loves him a woo. He was grinning ear to ear at the end when everybody was wooing. He was like, hey, leaning into it. He's like, this is so cool. Everybody's wooing. And people on Twitter are having meltdowns.
Audience participation is his thing. So, yeah.
I mean, that's the song you can woo in. Like,
yeah,
that one I'm fine with. I mean, woo wherever you want.
Vultures. When can you woo?
Right?
You can woo whenever you want.
I tell you what, Timber, I wish all Timbers were like 25 minutes and they just lived in that rhythmic dark space. It sounds like you're running through a forest or something almost with Fishman's drums. I mean, Timber is so one of my favorite songs and good tonight, but I wanted more.
Yeah.
That's a common refrain though, but yeah, I hear you.
It was an interesting run there though, with like a 17-minute theme, which got, kind of deep, and then the 6-minute Vultures and a 10-minute Timber. Like that was a fun little run, I thought, right there of songs too in that set. Like it was an interesting, fun time through that first set right there. Like cool songs, some good jams, some good music, really all the way through there. And then I was a little surprised with Everything's Right closing the set. Like I thought that was an odd choice to go out on. When they do the whole arena rock thing with the yeah, but it didn't really, I don't know, I just didn't feel
it. I'm not saying it's a good choice. I'm just saying
I get it. No, I get it.
They've been putting it,
but
there.
I just don't think it didn't fit like I think I said this earlier too.
It seemed forced. It seemed like forced.
Right, and it just seemed like a weird spot for it. Like when they opened Vegas with it that one night, it kind of fit as an opener, and I could see it fitting as an opener because then you
Oh,
have things
damn,
behind
Mike.
it that
Thank you.
work. But closing the set with it is kind of like, I don't know.
I thought,
And then they
I want to
did
go
it-
back real quick because you guys cut me off on the timber.
Oh, geez, sorry.
I loved it, and like you guys are sitting here shitting on it, but I think it's worth pointing out.
Who shit? Who shit?
You too. You're all Kev's all like,
I am
"Oh,
not a bear in the
it's a
woods.
tiny
I am not a
timber.
bear
I
in the
didn't
woods.
like it. It was so small. I like my timber's big. I
want big timber, baby. I
want a big timber. No, I'm just pointing out. I wanted to point out that people had concerns about Fishman, and he was a little off in the beginning of the tour. And once again, and I'm a big Fish stan, so I'll probably do this all tour. But he was so locked on all these songs, and especially in this timber, it was driving. That is a song that could very easily slip into like a sluggish feel if he's not pushing ahead. And he was perfectly in front of the beat, and I just loved it. I thought it really drove the jam. And I agree with you 100%. T. Everything's Right was an odd choice, but it was fine because the rest of the set was, decent enough.
I feel like they're forcing it, sticking Everything's Right there, and then to close set 2, Blaze On, they're like, let's get these 3.0 songs out there as the big, replacing a fluff head or something like that.
I actually liked this Blaze On. We'll get to it. I thought it worked. I agree with you on the Everything's Right, but I liked the Blaze On after all of the
Everything isn't right. Everything isn't right. Stop it, Trey. Just stop it.
Oh man. All right, some quick housekeeping. I just put up was it Coventry like a day or two ago. If you haven't yet, go check that out. The response has been
Tim
awesome.
had a glide moment there.
I did. We were talking backstage. We had all these emotions. It's just confusing. And anyway, also subscribe, please, if you haven't yet. We are only like 250 or so subs away from hitting 5,000. So that goal of hitting 5K before Mondegreen, which I thought was out of reach, now feels like it's in reach because we got 250 in the last like 3 weeks. So if we keep up the pace we've been going, we'll hit it. So please, if you haven't, please subscribe. It means a lot. And like this video and listen to Kev interrupt. What's up, Kev?
I was going to say, make sure you check out the Coventry video that Tim did with from Fishtail.
You fucking with me. Thanks, Pete. Yeah,
I was making fun of Trey telling the same story 2 nights in a row at Coventry.
You know what's funny about
Did he
that?
tell the same story 2 nights in a row?
Well, Benji said that, right? Talked about him saying the 2 stories.
Right.
But in the footage he sent me, he said that story twice. And I didn't know, like, it was super meta. I don't remember if I left it in. But it's like Benji started it. Was like, Trey said the same story twice. And at the end, he's like, yeah, did you guys know that Trey did the same story twice? And I was like, oh, no. All right. Let's get in this second set. Listen, this song, I Never Need You Like This before. I thought I hated it. In my mind, deep in my, like, the recesses of, like, my shitty Fish fan brain, I was like, I don't like this song. But tonight, for whatever reason, I liked it tonight. I really liked it tonight. I was like, holy shit. That's a good song.
Set opener. That's what you want for
it felt lighter. It felt happier.
Opener.
I think they played it differently. I don't know if that's true or not, but it felt good.
It hasn't been around much. It showed up in what? Isn't that the show that opened up for a song that opened up 4.0 back in Arkansas?
Yeah, debuted in Arkansas.
Arkansas.
It was not great in Arkansas.
The Arkansas show, the legendary, incredible Arkansas show.
The Runaway Groove.
It's only been played 13 times, and I think I've caught like 6 of them.
12 of them. It's the new number line.
It's the new number line.
He gets it all the time.
I do. But I like it now. Man. I didn't like it before this, but it's growing on me for sure.
Can I kick this next thing off, please? Sure. Because just let me tell you, you looked at me funny when I said the Elite 8, like you weren't sure. And I just think pound for pound, minute for minute, this Tweezer had more interesting things than I've heard in 90% of the Tweezers I've ever heard. they kept changing. It was 2 or 3 minute little bits they were hitting at one point, and I just found that fantastic.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It was absolutely phenomenal. The reason I looked at you like that was because there's been 447 tweezers, and I'm not prepared the night of to be like, this is top 8 of those 447 tweezers. Also, it's weird to say top 8, but I respect it. It's a bold move. Like, you could be like, it's top 10, top 5, but nope.
Well, I was thinking bracket. I was thinking in terms of brackets.
Yeah, right, like elite. Yep. No, that makes sense. Yeah, listen, I think it was fantastic. I like how hopeful and optimistic the jam felt in the beginning. It was like a more of a glory than a bliss, right? Like, I know we describe a lot of those jams as blissful. Like, I felt like it was just more like glorious, But then the evolved bleeps and bloops. What used to just be Plinko and now is like, it's like this sonic soundscape of mindfuckery that just kept going deeper and deeper and deeper. I think was absolutely insane.
And those came in at like 32 minutes.
Yeah, we're pretty late, right?
Like, it wasn't like one of those things where the jam kind of evolved into that quickly and you got those. That was like literally, because I marked it down. I was like, holy shit, we're getting bleeps and bloops. Sweet. And I was like, wait, where are we in the song? I was like, oh my God, we're like 32 minutes into the song. And
Trey stands up.
And then you're like, where are we going with this still? And you're constantly expecting him to pull out of it or like, go somewhere like, or just kill it, kind of like what he does with the Piper later. So you're just kind of keep, like Kev says, watching where the pockets are and like where it's going, but then also kind of looking at the time every now and then just to sort of be like, well, odds are he's going to like do something soon here, right? And it kind of just kept going for another 10 minutes after the bleeps and bloops hit too, which was like really.
I liked how patient they were in it.
Yeah.
I think part of that's Fish and Mike were so locked in on that groove. That's how I interpreted it, is that they were driving the train and then Paige and Trey were the ones that were doing all the crazy mindfuckery, over it. But like if you actually just listen to the groove underneath it, it's very straight, very locked in and just go, like right on the rails. But yeah, I don't know, man. What do you compare it to the Simple, Kev?
I think this a lot better than the Simple.
A lot better than the Simple from 2 nights ago or 2 shows ago? Wow.
The 40-minute Simple, I would agree. I think if you put those head to head, I like this one better.
40 is the new 30 minutes.
I think we said that after the Simple night, though, right? That like this used to be such a rarity, and I think I forget what we said or what I had guessed, but I was thinking we were going to get like 3 or 4 of them this summer. Right. I didn't think it was going to be 2 days later, but
yeah. At a random night,
the next day I was pushing the Chalk Dust is better than that Simple. So,
oh yeah, that was dumb as shit. That's right. I should have asked you.
Thank you. I don't know. That's one of those in there. I mean, you could compare this to that one. I feel like more readily than either one of the Simples to it.
I thought,
and they ended it.
It was really good. You didn't like that?
Yeah.
Wrong show.
They found their way back with the Tweezer too. Very nicely landed it. Ether Edge, not something I'm a fan of, but the jam in this tonight, I was like, wow.
I don't know if they found their way back. I think they forced their way back. That felt like a little like, oh shit, we're back. Okay, but yeah, Ether Edge. I agree with you. Not my favorite, but this one I dug as well.
You really feel like it was forced, because I was thinking at times during the jam that, as you were saying, Mike and Fishman were driving it and they were keeping Trey from ending it. So you're thinking that Trey at that point was just like, fuck it, we're out of here, we're done with this.
They hit a mark together. The mark was clean. It was just terrace, is like the word I use in music, where it's like a sudden like thing, which is not a bad thing, but I don't know. Maybe I'm being hypercritical on it. It felt there was no segue, there was no buildup, there was no sometimes they'll introduce it again and then like bring it in or modulate in or something. This was just basically
Jibboo, they did that like 4 minutes before it ended. Trey started playing it, and then they did
doing it and they build it up,
and
that's one cool way. That's what I would say is finding it. Like they find their way back. This was like I don't know if they planned it or they just hit it. They were just like, we're back into Tweezer. You know,
It
which
was
is
like
cool.
it was like
Trey
all of a
has the
sudden.
ripcord. Trey has
Well,
a ripcord
yeah. It's like
he
all of a
hit.
sudden downshifting the gear and just dropping it down a gear. And you're like, oh, we're
Yeah,
back
and you're
into
like,
it. But
yeah,
like, yeah, you're like,
whiplash.
wasn't exactly
he
the
hits this
smoothest
pedal.
transition, but we're back. Like we're
He
going
hits
down.
this pedal, and what it does is it shocks Fishman. It sends a shock. So he like ends
right
the
in his
song.
butt.
Ugh.
Well, it's a testament what phenomenal musicians they all are too, because one of them, usually Trey, could just do something, and within a not even a bar, like within a beat or two, they're all fucking locked in, and they know how to vamp enough to make that
Yeah.
work.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think it was a ripcord. I agree with Starkiller. It wasn't a ripcord, but it was definitely a jerky terrace transition.
Can you
Back into
ripcord the beginning of a song?
I don't know. I was not prepared for that question.
By like not giving it a slow build?
Oh, I see what you're doing.
Uh-huh.
I felt like this was one of those like meta bits where it's like Kev with like a pipe.
It's funny though with these two songs. I mean, we can talk about them together because they're kind of segue
They
into
worked
each other,
together,
so.
didn't they?
But
They
they worked together. But I felt like the jam and Ether Edge was a much more like. First, you were surprised at it, right? Because like you haven't really heard that in this song, so it was like really cool to get that, and it was a really cool jam that I felt like fit really well in the song and like went where it was supposed to go and came back, and then you like dropped into this Piper, and I was very excited to get the Piper, and I was like, oh man, I was thinking maybe 4-song second set, like drag this Piper out, close the set with this fucking epic like 30-minute, 40-minute Piper after you got that 40-minute tweezer. And instead you got this 13-minute one, which I felt really incomplete of compared to especially the little jam that you got inside. I felt so much more complete with the Ether Edge jam that we got out of that than I did with the Piper jam that we got. It was just one of those weird. I wanted more. I felt like we didn't really need 14 minutes of Meat and Blaze on. You could have 14 minutes out that Piper and made it fucking awesome with
He
that.
sounds
music.
like me.
Yeah, but
And
see,
it would've
I
been-
don't agree with that in a perfect world, but don't disagree with you, but I think it's like a chicken or egg thing. I think if they had found a better jam in Piper, they might have extended it.
Might have,
but
yeah.
because they couldn't find it. I think that's a lot of these times.
But it
where
sounded
they don't
like
do
such
it.
a cool jam towards the end of that thing. I was like, this is really like kind of picking up, kind of like where we were in moments of that Tweezer jam that came out, right? And yeah, it felt like we were still going. We hadn't got there yet, and it didn't all of a sudden we came back. So I was just like, and especially after that Ether Edge, that you were like, oh, what a fun jam this was, and it worked so well in there that it was like, okay, cool. Now I thought just Piper was gonna be an extension of those last 2 songs that it kind of set it up so well, and it wasn't. And then we got but it was still good. I mean, whatever. It was, it worked where it was, and I was very excited to get it. And I love getting a Tweezer and a Piper in the same set. That's fucking rad.
Yeah, it's sick.
So
I thought
I feel. Go ahead.
I was just getting a little bit frustrated with Trey during Ether Edge, because he does this thing where he takes songs I really don't like and then just does phenomenal jams, and it's like I'm going to go back and listen to this, and I'm gonna have to listen to the beginning of Ether Edge. I'm like, he used to do that with like Set Your Soul Free and like Soul Plan and all these songs that I like, not huge on, but anyway, sorry, Kev. Well, actually, I don't know why I'm apologizing. Like I started before you, but you go now.
I feel like that's a point I've been making for years.
Yeah, probably.
See Ruby Waves. I wish when they went into Meat, I was like, this is brilliant. I was like, this is so cool that they're doing a Mike song this late, maybe even a closer in the second set. And then instead of like in Hershey in 21, when they did like 9 minutes and played with that jam over and over again, boom, they were out of there. I was like, man, you missed a chance here, I feel like.
Well, I think that's kind of Mike's fault, though, because I thought PHiSH was down and he was sounding great and he did the big fills. And they had that like little ditty that he used to close it. Mike did it on like the third one. And to Trey's credit, he was like, no, we're not doing it. And he did you could look at like Mike and PHiSH and they're like, okay, I guess we're done. And then Trey was like, no, we're going to do another one, and picked it back up. But then when they brought it back up, then they were like, all right, let's close it off. I love that song. I even in short, and you get only a couple of rounds, I just love the groove of it. I love the feel. I love the playfulness. I love the laughing and joking. I've been doing all that editing with Coventry and looking at Trey spun out and strung out. So like to see his face like this and them laughing is just I want to inject it. Ironically, I shouldn't use drug lingo, but like I want to inject it right in my veins because I was like, it's so nice to see everybody so happy and loving life, you know.
I've always held Meat, Solid Again, and Ghost as being 3 songs that belong together because Meat mentions feeding the ghost meat, and Solid Again is obviously about something outside your window, and Ghost is about a ghost, and they were all on the same album. So that's kind of exciting. Can we skip Blaze On? No, go ahead.
This is why Blaze On worked for me, is because the entire set, for the most part, was spacey exploration, trying new things, uncharted territory with a lot of sonic soundscape building, like a lot of, you know what I mean? And so to have like a type 1 rocker with like a big peak and like, it's not my favorite song, but it fit that mold really well. And I think it was refreshing after the Brain Olympic. Like, right, the rest of the set like kind of takes your imagination, your brain through the gauntlet. And then it's nice to just have like a really simple, like, closing to the set where I'm like, all right, I'm done thinking, I'm done being stretched out into like the ether. Like, I just want a raging Blaze On to like close it out. So it worked for me. And tonight, like, I was just like, yeah, this is great.
You're wrong. Sorry. I'm so glad that works for you, but I'm going to tell you.
Well, no, you can take the counterpoint. I'm sure
No,
not everybody agrees with me.
I totally hear what you're saying. I just, as far as I think, Kev said it earlier, like both closers to both sets tonight were a little, I don't want to say flat, but just like not what you would expect to close the shows. I don't know. I mean, Blaze On's fine. I just don't. I don't know. Like, I kind of, where it lives these days is you kind of want it to go a little bit further out into something and
open a second set with
or be in the middle with like a nice long 15-minute jam that goes into something else. I don't know, 10-minute to close the set. It's not
and
that arena.
It wasn't
closers.
either one of them, right? It wasn't either one of them either. It was the fact that both sets closed with these 3.0 songs. That was my thing.
Songs that you're in that indoor arena too. Like, it feels like you're missing that.
Where was the McGraw to close the set?
McGraw. But I don't know. They could have closed it with something like a little more arena rock since they're in that indoor venue. Like, fine, if you're gonna Blaze On it, I can see that on an outdoor shit, whatever. Like, it works a little bit better to me, I think. But in that arena, like, you want to go out with a Golgi, a Character Zero. Like, I know they've played them, but like, you want to go out with something like that. Like, I know Possum they just did. Like,
Santos. It was a Santos.
Yeah, Santos works there. An Antelope.
Santos would have been the exact same fucking thing as the Blaze On.
You're right, but
if
they
did Santos, you could say the exact
Blaze
same
On
thing.
into Santos. No, and I think Santos works as a closer. Blaze On doesn't work as a closer, though. That's the thing. Like, Santos, you would accept because it works as the closer in that spot.
Yeah, by definition of the song in like just on the average version of it, but the version we got tonight with Blaze On,
Loving Cup,
massive.
No, well,
Timothy,
the
they
climax in the Blaze On jam was superb. Like, you can convince me with everything's right, but Blaze On had a huge climax. Like, it doesn't matter what song it was. That jam worked for the end of the night.
Okay.
Loving Cup would have been a great nod to last time.
Right, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. It's like you could nod to last time with Loving Cup, but you got such an epic one last time. I don't think you want to like necessarily bring that back.
No, and then you do the encore of Solid Again for everyone who was there.
There you go. Kev, look at Kev. Look at the cleverness comes out. I'm gonna give him that one. All right, I'm gonna give Kev 1 point for that one.
I think they could have done anything in the final spot, and I probably would have been happy because of this set was just so good. Right. But I hear you. You only like 1.0 songs. You're old crotchety. I get it.
That's not true. That is not true. I love these Solid Again now. Solid Again is one of the cool. It's top tier, and it does not get that much love. It's once a tour, maybe. It should be like a whole set thing, like a Tweezer. They do a Tweezer fest.
It needs to be Kev. it needs to be with the Well and My Friend. Like, I'm so glad they placed those two together the other night, because like it feels like the horror thing with a Carini in there too. Like, it just feels kind of like the horror trilogy or like family of songs all together. And yeah, Saw It Again's one of those that always like kind of.
I don't think they
watching-
era toured radio
Scary.
tonight. Really, they didn't do too much era tour.
I always like seeing hippies headbang too. So I like catching Saw It Again live, and I mean it really gets you moving.
I like when they do the reprise the night they do the Tweezer. None of this. Let's open the run with it and close the other with it, because it takes some of the fun away from that, from the second night, because you're like, yeah, they're going to do a Tweezer reprise.
Yeah, but it's cool if they would open with it. Like, what would be fun is if they'd ever throw it in the first set and open with it again and do that as a shot instead of like waiting till the encore and doing it. But yeah, I like when they let you out that same night.
We could have closed the set with it.
You could have, and then you guys would have bitched less about Blaze On. What if it was Blaze On into reprise?
Blaze On into reprise, and then a Saw It Again encore with something
Loving
else.
Cup, Saw It
Loving
Again.
Cup, Saw It Again.
All right. Well, we're all really good at writing set lists for PHiSH.
We're good at writing them after the fact.
See how we workshop that?
Yeah. All right. You know what though? I'm gonna push back on Kev's idea of not liking the starting and closing a run, because like, yeah, with like Twitter and .net and like what we do with like on YouTube and everything, sure. But I have been to runs where like you're just in it and you forget that like Tweezer 2 days earlier, and then I like that like full circle. It's like closing the chapter. I don't know. I have just experienced moments personally where I liked it, right? Like I felt it's like, oh, you know, and the hypeness at the end of a 3-day run or 4-day run is like really high. But I also hear what you're saying. It is nice to have it packed in one night.
If you're going to split some up
runs a lot different. A 4-day run's a lot different than a 2-night run. Getting it like one night.
That's true. Midweek 2-night run. Yeah, you know, you're right. Because also, I don't think there's as many recurring. Like, I feel like when you're in like a random market like that on 2 nights in the middle of the week,
right.
I don't know.
So we got what 8-9 shows before Mondegreen. Are we going to see another Tweezer before Mondegreen?
Yes, I think so. Probably Deer Creek. If I had to
Oh,
guess.
you thinking like 4 or 5 shows? 4 shows will do it.
Possibly.
How many
I can
shows?
see it. That's totally legitimate. That is a totally fine answer. I was thinking on the other side, they just did a monster one. Maybe they'd hold one, but I think the answer is at Deer Creek or something. They'll do a shorter one. It'll be like a 20-minute Tweezer.
Just to get it out.
Mondegreen, right?
I don't know. I also could see them not doing Tweezer at all and not needing to, because we've had a 40-something minute simple, a 40-something minute chalk dust.
Right. Next show is going to be the one where they next show is going to be the one where they flip to doing more repeats than first time plays on the tour, because tonight we were at 8 and 7.
Wait, so did you win or lose?
I won. Scott owes me a 6-pack.
I'm gonna drink half of that 6-pack.
Yes, we're gonna enjoy it. We're gonna sneak it into the show.
All right, thanks guys. Like and subscribe. We'll see you tomorrow night.